We've reached the midway point of the Pac-12 gymnastics season. And oh, we got a good one for you today. Here at legendary Gill Coliseum in Corvallis, we have two of the top 15 teams in the nation, the California Golden Bears and the Oregon State Beavers. Two of the top 4 teams in the country hail from the Pac-12. The defending national champion UCLA Bruins are ranked number 3. Utah's at number 4. Oregon State and Cal just outside the top 10. And hi everybody, along with Olympic gold medalist Amanda Borden, I'm Rich Burke. Both these teams think they have a shot at the NCAA championships.
Where they're both having a very strong season and they're coming off wins, but when I had a chance to talk to the coaches, they said both teams are still looking to put a complete meet together, and that's the goal here today.
Yeah, and Oregon State came close to that a couple of weeks ago against UCLA. They stepped up against the defending national champions. Scores across the board were up, capped off by a 9.975 on floor from Caitlin Yanish.
Well, she was a strong gymnast as a freshman, and head coach Tanya Chaplin said she is even better this year because she knows what to expect both in the gym and out. That's making her more comfortable and more confident, and it definitely showed last week with her near perfect score on the floor exercise. And here today, we're going to see her close out the meet on this event.
Yeah, and this is a close one. It could come down to that final routine. She put on a show a couple of weeks ago, and her teammates loved it. Now for the California Golden Bears, they've brought in another great recruiting class, Milan Clausi, one of those.
Well, she is a beautiful gymnast with great execution, and that delivers big scores. But the coaches said that it's her difficulty that has really pushed the whole team. She won floor last week with a 9.9 and helped this team put up a season-high road score. Looking
forward to watching her. Hey, we've got the California Golden Bears, the Oregon State Beavers. First rotation is coming up from Corvallis. What a great shot of iconic Weatherford Hall. That's just a couple hundred yards away from Gill Coliseum. We're inside for their Damn Cancer Meet, 14th time that they have done this, focusing on the fight against breast cancer and other cancers. It's California against Oregon State. Rich Burke along with Amanda Borden. We welcome those of you just joining us. And Oregon State, a couple of weeks ago, posted a 197.45 against UCLA. Their head coach is Tanya Chaplin. What a resume she has. As Tanya Service, she was a 2-time then Pac-10 Gymnast of the Year in the late 1980s, and she has led her team to regionals all 21 previous years and to nationals 12 times.
Well, and she's very proud of what this team is accomplishing this year. They've had adversity, injuries, illnesses, and every weekend they continue to strive to get better. And most importantly, she said, they have learned something new every single weekend that's making them a better team.
Yeah, that's a hallmark of her teams. And there's Justin Howell, the head coach, co-head coach now, the California Golden Bears, his 7th season. His wife, Liz Crandall Howell, elevated to co-head coach this year.
Well, they also have had some adversity this season. Something that I've loved about them as coaches is watching them really look to improve their team. Their athletes continue to learn new skills. They're pushing the envelope of difficulty. And the bottom line is they want to be in the mix at the end of the season here.
Yep, and this year at Nationals, only 8 teams make it to the NCAA championships, down from 12. There's no more Super 6. It'll be 8, and then that will go to 4 on the final day.
Yeah, you know, it's going to make it exciting. You're going to be able to tell exactly what's happening, and I think it's going to help the teams really stay in the energy mode of what kind of scores they need to put up to win.
Oregon State Beavers, they are best certainly on floor, where they're ranked number 5 in the country. They're averaging 49.2. Matter of fact, they have scored 49 plus on floor in each of the first 6 weeks of this season. And now to 23rd on bars. And then for the California Golden Bears, their best apparatus is vault. They are ranked 8th in the country, averaging 49.1 there. And for Cal, they're 26th on bars, but they had to count a fall earlier this year at Arizona. If you were to factor that out, Cal would be 11th in the country on bars. So solid all the way around for the Golden Bears. And a couple of years ago, made their, matter of fact, back in 2016, they made the NCAA championships for just the 2nd time ever. And the first time since 1992, when Justin Howell was named the National Coach of the Year, and they made the NCAA championships last year, so twice in 3 seasons.
Yeah, they're a very even matched team. going head-to-head here. It looks like they're having some issues with the uneven bars, and that may delay the warm-up for Cal. That's a tough event to start on and then to be held up, so we'll have to see how that goes. That event has been a challenge for this team, and like you mentioned, it was one meet, but every meet that I've seen them on bars, they've had a few struggles, so they're looking to get into a better rhythm and put 6 great routines up and gain momentum here at the top of the competition.
Oregon State Beavers last year advanced to the postseason for the 44th consecutive year. They had to count a couple of falls at the Raleigh Regional where they finished 6th. 2 years ago, they finished 2nd at the Champaign Regional, and they earned a berth into the NCAA Championships where they finished 11th in St. Louis. Oregon State midway through the season, and next week they'll be back in the desert to face Arizona State. They faced Arizona down in Tucson last week, and then in a couple of weeks Oregon State will be back home for a tri-meet against Bowling Green and Alaska Anchorage. Now meanwhile, California next week, they'll be at home against Washington. That'll be on Saturday, 2 o'clock, Pac-12 Bay Area. And Pac-12 Washington, and a big one coming up on Pac-12 Network next week as number 3 and 4 ranked teams in the country. UCLA and Utah will go head-to-head.
Yes, I'm going to be there for that, so it's always a great point in the season to see those two teams go head-to-head, and it gives them a good look at what they're going to be up against for the title. But I think every team in this conference is gunning for that. The good news for Cal, it looks like the warm-ups have started. That is, like I mentioned, always a challenge. It looked like there was an issue with the tension that tightens the bars. Looks like it wasn't locking in, and it's really important that the bars are exactly how the athletes want in the warm-up. Really sets the tone for that competition.
When you've had to count a fall on a certain apparatus, is that stick in your head as you move on to future competitions?
Well, I think the most difficult part about gymnastics is it's not the physical, it's the mental. When it comes to competition, these athletes train these routines over and over, but when you get into competition, there's the mental aspect. And if you've had a mistake on an event, the goal is that you leave that behind, you block it out, and that you focus in on the amount of routines you do in the gym every single day. And I know for me personally, it was always just remembering I need to do one more routine. Don't worry about competition, just hit one more routine, because you've hit hundreds in the gym.
So they're completing their warm-ups, and we'll take a timeout and come back with the first rotation from here in Corvallis, Cal and Oregon State in a moment. Couple of evenly matched teams. Oregon State 12th in the country and California ranked number 14. So this could come down to the final couple of routines. Oregon State going to start off on vault as the home team does, and they were ranked 25th on vault a couple of weeks ago, and right now up to number 14, so getting better and better.
Well, they may have a lineup change. I think that's been one of the biggest challenges is they've had some injuries, and so really trying to get some of their strong athletes back in on this event. When I had a chance to talk to head coach right there, Tanya Chaplin, she said, we're playing out if we're going to put those 10-0 vaults out there or not, or we're going to go with those Yurchenko layup fulls and see if we can stick them.
Now McKenna Singley to start off the meet.
Lay out Yurchenko full, little out of control on the landing. The judges watch this event over and over, so what are they looking for? They're looking for the position off the table right here. Turn just a little bit early. Anytime you see that turn happen before the flip, that takes just a little power out of the vaults. And then you can see she kind of walked back out on the landing.
Had a season high 9.875 last week at Arizona. McKenna Singley. We'll see her in a couple of more lineups today. Sophie Seilnach will start it off on bars for Cal. Senior from Fremont, California, has been in the bars lineup for the previous 6 meets this year. Season high 9.85 a couple of weeks ago against ASU and BYU. Her twin sister Sylvie, her Cal teammate.
She's been in this position because she's consistent. Takes that nice deep breath. The key on this event is just getting into that smooth rhythm. Starting right here with the release combination. Pike Jaeger connected down to the low bar. Very nice. Looking for a hit handstand, right to vertical. Unique dismount, front 1.5 twist. Fighting for it. Her feet didn't move, but she will get a little bit of a posture deduction, bending forward to hang on to it. But at this point in the season, when you talk to these coaches, they really start focusing in on details. Of course, hitting handstands on this event is important, but it's time to start for the landings right here. Coming in, you can see her toes gripping. She had to drop her chest just a little bit, but it's a great place to start when you're focusing in on those landings, because 5 scores count. If you can save a step, that's 5/10 to that team score.
9.75 for McKenna Singley, and now the first of the 2 Dagan sisters, the elder, Lacey Dagan, transfer last year from Florida, who walked on at Oregon State, been in OSU's vault lineup each week so far. Last week was her best, a 9.825 against Utah. Dagan has a career history of injuries, competed briefly in her freshman year, then missed all of 2016 after a knee injury the previous fall. Another knee injury cost her most of 2017, but now in her second year with Oregon State after the transfer from Florida.
Nice power, just that big hop again. These vaults, the Yurchenko layup full starts from a 9.95, so the key to getting control is the block has to go straight up right there. You can see her position on the table was forcing the momentum to the back. Great distance there. Just need to find control, bend those knees, absorb that power.
9.725 for Sophie Salnock, and now Kiana George, a sophomore from McKinney, Texas. Last week was just the second time in her career that she hasn't done the all-around. Wasn't in the bars lineup last week at Utah.
Nice start there. Beautiful handstand work to her release. Down to the low bar. Moving it back up, setting up for the dismount. Combination work, toe handstand. Full twisting double back, way above the bar. And a solid routine.
Oh, well done for Kiana George. Getting word that there was a flash photography in McKenna Singley's vault. She's going to get to redo that at the end of the lineup.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that, but great landing there for Kiana George. Again, fighting for that landing.
A 9.75 for Lacey Dagan. 6 gymnasts go, 5 scores count. You get to scratch out your lowest score. Here's the younger Dagan, Maddie Dagan, one of the best recruits in the country this year.
Wow, incredible. When I talked to the coaches earlier, they said, you know she's a great gymnast. Everybody recruited her, but she has come in as a freshman with experience, and to be able to do that, Yurchenko layout full and know how to stick this early in her career, it's gonna make her a standout and a huge addition to this team. Beautiful form in the air. You'll see she flares her arms out right in the middle, right there. That gives her time to see the ground and then get that balance. The key is getting your hips, shoulders, and then absorbing that power and holding on to it.
A 9.8 for Kiana George in her bars routine. Now Talitha Jones, who wasn't in the initial starting lineup. Alma Cook was, but it is Talitha Jones, the freshman from Los Angeles, who's third on bars for Cal.
Lots of power in this routine. You know, she jumped in last week, last minute, on the uneven bars in the 2 spot, this time in the 3 spot. A little short there on that final cast.
The season best in 9.8. She's done that 3 times.
Clean dismount, just a hop back. When I talked to the Cal coaches, I said, any lineup changes? And they said, well, we're not sure yet. I said, you're gonna keep us on our toes. The good news is I've seen Talitha on this event. She is strong and consistent, and I think it's always a good opportunity when you have enough athletes to be able to jump in and out when needed, and she's done that so far early in her career.
9.85 for Maddie Dagan, and now Caitlin Yanish. We figured to see her in every lineup. Been the Beavers' only all-arounder this year.
I saw her warm up that vault over and over, and it was just about perfect every time. She has a lot of speed on this run. That gives her the opportunity to really get off that table, fly through the air. Again, opening just a little off balance. That left foot stepped back on the landing.
And in looking at it again, we probably won't see her on bars. She's only exhibition the last couple of meets on bars. Well done for her. 9.825 for Talitha Jones, stepping in for Alma Cook. And now Emmy Watterson, the sophomore from Brisbane, Australia, the hometown of Brisbane in the state of Queensland on the eastern coast of Australia.
Aggressive cast handstand, lost a little bit in her lower back, but held on to it. Beautiful combination work back up to the high bar. She has nice fluid swing, full pirouette right on top, and a clean double tuck to finish the routine.
Back-to-back clean routines for her. Last week at Utah, then this week she had suffered a fall a couple of weeks ago.
Beautiful work here. It's important that that full pirouette finishes within 10 degrees of the handstand, no problem. That really set her up in a good position for that double tuck. Just simple dismount, so it's a great opportunity to go for that stick.
Back-to-back 9.85s for Dagan and Yanish, and now Mary Jacobson, the most experienced gymnast on the Beaver team. 115 career routines entering this meet.
And she has a unique vault. We see the Yurchenko a lot, the round board back handspring onto the table. This one comes onto the table forward. It is much more difficult to get height, power, and a good landing. Wow. That is not easy to do. You don't see many gymnasts perform that vault.
That one also has a 10-0 start value, like the Yurchenko 1.5.
Well, she does a great job of keeping her form. Quite often on that vault, you see them split their legs. She does have to pike it down just a little bit. Right here off the board, you can see that split of the legs, but then she glues them together in the air and was centered. Little lean back on the landing. Nice vault.
9.875 for Watterson. Now Nina Schenk, the sophomore from Oakland. Her dad Richard got both his bachelor's and master's degree from Cal, so here she is following in his footsteps. 2017 Junior Olympic Nationals uneven bars champion.
We can see why. She has beautiful fluid swing, nice handstands, good form. All that's left is the dismount, double layout. Good for her. I didn't want to say anything prior because last week I saw her in this event and she fell. I never like to bring it up until they dismount. So a much better routine for her.
Yeah, that was her first miss on bars all season last week. Good recovery. 9.875 for Mary Jacobson. Looking to scratch a line through that 9.75 from Lacey Dagan. And remember, McKenna Singley will go again at the end in a rare move. Here's Destiny Davis.
This is the first vault of her season. Oh, came up just a hair short on the landing. She actually had surgery on her thumb in the preseason, so they were excited to get her back in this event. She twisted a little bit early. You're gonna see when she's on the table, watch how her hands almost swivel right there. So she misses the block. She starts the turn before the flip, and that's what causes you to come up a little bit short. She needs to push off her hands first, start the layout, then pull to that twist. She is extremely powerful, so with a little bit of time, I think she'll clean that up and get a great landing on it.
Yeah, for Oregon State, just nice to have Davis back in that vault lineup. 9.85 for Nina Schenk. And now Maya Bordas, the freshman from Austin. Won the all-around at the JO Nationals in 2017. Has been on bars just twice this year as a freshman. Suffered a fall 3 weeks ago at Arizona. But then last week stepped up after a teammate's fall on bars, had a 9.875 to win the event.
Yeah, what an experience as a freshman to be able to pull that out for the team. That definitely gives you confidence, but good for Cal. They just put up 6 routines and hit 6 routines on an event they really wanted to make improvements on. Beautiful form on the giant full. Little late on that second part of the pirouette, but recovered well, opening up on that double tuck. Small step of the right foot. Great opening rotation for them.
Capped off by Maya Bordas. And now McKenna Singley, who began on vault, will get to go again. There was flash photography during her vault, and so in a rare move, she both begins the lineup and ends it. They scratched out her score. Here she goes again.
The first vault she did was strong. She wants a better landing right there. Definitely a better vault for her.
Doesn't happen very often, but she got a mulligan because of some flash photography. And so McKenna Singley much better the second time around. One rotation in, 3 to go. Oregon State and Cal will give you the scores after this first rotation coming up in a moment from Corvallis. So the Bears in the first rotation on bars, 49-2. Oregon State 49-125, so a .075 lead for Cal as they head to the vault, and Oregon State goes to the bars for rotation number 2. This is the 14th annual Damn Cancer Meet here at Oregon State University. Bring your pink and make your donations for the fight against breast cancer. Proceeds donated to the Corvallis Clinic and benefiting Project Her. And we had some gymnasts come onto the floor earlier. Oregon State with people who have survived cancer, currently battling it, and Jamie Law's mom, Mary. Oregon State's first national champion and All-American, Mary Law, and coming out with Jamie and Christina Peterson. And so it was a great moment here as many people who have battled cancer came out on the floor with Oregon State gymnasts. And the crowd really enjoyed it.
Yeah, such a great reminder. There's a bigger purpose when being an athlete. You know, it's about inspiration, it's about being tough, and it's about fighting. And you see so many of these survivors say these athletes are inspirational, but when you talk to the athletes, they say it's inspirational to see how hard these people fight just for life.
Yep, for sure. It goes both ways. In the first rotation, Oregon State was on vault. Maddie Dagan, a freshman, again one of the best recruits in the country, had a solid job.
Well, she showed up big time right here on the first rotation. Yurchenko layout full, stuck the landing. Exactly what they want to be doing at this point in the season. Focus in on the details, tighten up the landings. And remember, she's just a freshman. Caitlin Yanish, a sophomore, she's been doing this all season long. A powerhouse, beautiful form, beautiful technique, and just a little slide of that left foot on the landing. Great way to start her competition.
And then Mary Jacobson.
A unique vault coming on in that Suk position, the round off onto the table. Little leg separation there, but beautiful form in the air. Has to generate great power. You see those arms really wrap into the full twist and puts up a solid landing.
Tough vault, she really did it well. And Cal on bars. And Emmy Watterson, the Australian, had a nice routine.
This was a great rotation for them. They've had some bobbles on this event throughout this season. It was a 9.875 on this routine. She had the details, the nice lines, and a great landing on the double tuck.
And then Nina Shank, the Oakland native.
Last week she stumbled on this event, so it was great to watch her block that out and put up a beautiful routine. She started with a great release combination, finished with a double layout, just a little off balance on that landing. But a big score, 49-2 on bars for Cal. That is great.
Yes, indeed. That's about a half a point better than their average, 48-7-6-7. They've got a .075 lead over Oregon State as we head to the second rotation after this from Corvallis. Back here at Gill Coliseum, this venue now in its 70th season, opened up late in 1949. Another good crowd here for gymnastics. Had a sellout crowd last night here for men's basketball. Ted Robinson, great Pac-12 Network's announcer, said that the vibe last night in this building was the best he's seen in any Pac-12 venue in 2 years. And they bring it here for gymnastics as well.
Yeah, energy is a great thing when you're competing. So I know as an athlete, I would much rather be in a sold-out arena with lots of positive energy. It really makes a difference in your performance.
You can see Sylvie Seilnock. We saw Sophie, her sister, on bars. Sylvie will lead off the vault rotation for Cal with their .075 lead. Slim lead after one rotation. Final application of the bling.
That's important.
That's important. And so Sophie Seilnock will start it off. Sylvie Seilnock, pardon me, will start it off. We saw her sister Sophie get a 9.725. on bars.
She had been out for a couple weeks with injury, and last week she came back in on the vault lineup. Great way to start this rotation for Cal. She got a 9.8 on this vault a week ago. Little leg separation there onto the table, but got it right back together. And look at that posture on the landing. When it comes to being able to stick a vault, it's all about the position coming off the table, but as you drop into that landing, your posture's gotta be exactly in place to make that happen.
Colette Yamaoka will start it off on bars for Oregon State, and I've told this story before, but it's such a good one. She walked on to the Oregon State team in the fall of last year. She contacted them at the end of September after practice had begun, said she was a student at OSU, asked for a tryout. They'd never heard of her, and they normally wouldn't do that, but they agreed. She tried out for Michael Chaplin, and he said to the other coaches, "You got to get in here and see this."
Well, and now she's leading off the bar lineup. That's some of my favorite things about collegiate gymnastics. Nice finish there, giant full double tuck. At this point in their gymnastics, they've done it for so long. Quite often, the athletes who do the best in the collegiate world are ones that continue to love it. And athletes like that come in and just say, hey, I just want to be a part of this. Those sometimes are the ones you want on your team. And of course, if they can put up consistent, clean routines and good scores, even better.
Yeah, and to be successful at this level with gymnastics and all the work that goes into it, not to mention academics, you have to love it. 9.75 for Sylvie Sile-Nocton. Now, Talitha Jones. Saw Talitha step in at the last moment to the bars lineup and card a 9.825. Her season high 9.8 on vault came 2 weeks ago.
Let's see what vault she's gonna do. Layout full. She can do a 1.5 twist. When I talked to the coaches, they said, you know, it's a tough decision. You're weighing out that 0.05 of a risk. Can you do the layout full with amplitude, power, and a clean landing, which she does. She has that little hop. If she just bent her knees a little bit, I think she could really get a stick.
So for people who don't know, the vault is the one apparatus where you can have a start value that's less than 10. It's 9.95 for many of the gymnasts. If you have a twist or something else extra special in it, you get that start value of 10. 9.75 for Yamaoka, and now Mary Jacobson at a 9.875 on vault. A couple of weeks ago against UCLA, posted a season high 9.875 on bars.
When I talked to the coaches, I said, you know, bars has been kind of your weakness. Why? And they said, you know, we've had a lot of athletes out of the lineup. So when they started the season, they didn't have 6 routines with the 10.0 start value. Glad to have some of these athletes back in. Big double front dismount for her. Those blind landings are very challenging. They're risky because you can't hit the ground. So when she landed, she had to step back just a little bit. Right here, she gets into that front grip, has to get a real strong kick. I actually did this dismount, so I know how hard she opens it up.
Recently?
Recently, over 20 years ago, okay? Don't call me out on the age yet. I feel like I could still do it.
I bet you could. A 9.8 for Talitha Jones, and now Rachel Mastrangelo, junior from Waxhaw, North Carolina. Competed in 7 meets as a vault specialist last year, has been in every vault lineup this year. Season high 9.825.
Well, she's powerful and she's tall, so it looks beautiful. Puts up a clean landing there. That should break above the 9.8 range. Nice position, little leg separation. Arms wrapped down to her side, and that just gave her a perfect position on the landing.
Rachel Mastrangelo. 9.825 for Jacobson. Our first look at Isis Lowry, the junior from Melbourne, Australia. She was also a high jumper in high school in Australia, state champion for the state of Victoria.
And this is her first year competing bars for Oregon State. We've always seen her on the floor exercise. Wow, great job holding on there. Looked like she came up a little bit short to the high bar. Was hanging on by the dowel of her grip. I always talk about how important it is to get the dowel over the bar on those releases, but what a great fight. Moving into the dismount. Double layout, nailed it.
Nails it at the end. Celebration for Isis Lowry. Her countrywoman Emmy Watterson leading the bars right now, 9.875.
Right there. It really looked like she didn't have a great grip. on the kickback, but she was able to what we call re-grip the bar. Got her plenty enough power down to the low bar on that release, but this dismount, very impressive. Nice position in the air and was ready for that landing. And then the celebration.
We see that so much, it's easy to take for granted how difficult it is to do what she just did. 92.5 for Rachel Mastrangelo. Now Milan Clausi.
She has that more difficult vault you were mentioning, a 10-0 start value. Yurchenko layout, 1.5 twist. Little short on it. That's the risk you take on those 1.5 twists. It's much more challenging to land. The goal is that you can spot the ground over your shoulder on that final half twist. But if you are short, this is what can happen. Right there. Nice position. She spots the ground, so she was able to adjust, but that is a great fight. Anytime you come up short on that front landing, it's very easy to sit it down. So we'll have to see what the judges think of that one.
Mariana Calusi-Palath of Oregon State, a senior from Oakville, Ontario. Fourth in their bars lineup.
Nice release combination to start the routine. Winding up big for the dismount. Wow, they are fighting for these landings.
Like Lowry before her, Calusi-Palath sticks the landing.
Nice final handstand there. She's got lots of speed and power on the Giants, giving her good amplitude on that double layout. She knew exactly where she was. Arms were ready.
Isis Lowry, by the way, had a 9.85 on her routine. 9.725 for Milan Clausi. And now Tony Ann Williams, our first look at the senior. Randallstown, Maryland, 2016 Olympian for Jamaica. And Cal's best.
Beautiful vault for her. She's always one of my favorites because of her energy. She has a smile on her face. When I come in, she always waves to me right away, and that has always made it fun to watch. It's hard to believe this is her 5th year. She is dynamic and powerful. Vault, always one of her great events.
Had a perfect 10 on vault 4 years ago in Berkeley against Oregon State.
Yeah, and she's overcoming an elbow injury. She actually dislocated her elbow in the fall and has had to come back from that. When I saw her early in the season, I said it was hard to believe that happened because she was already so strong, but each meet she's getting stronger.
9.875 for Calusi-Palath, which matches Emmy Watterson for the lead in the bars event. Hallie Briscoe, the junior from Dallas, a couple of weeks ago against UCLA, matched a career high with a 9.875. This is her one shot. She's a bar specialist.
She caught her Jaeger release move a little close to the bar, but was able to adjust, transitioning down to the low bar and back up for the dismount. Oh, open those arms forward just a little early. That caused her chest to be forward on the landing, had to take that step.
9.875 for Tony Ann Williams. And now Kiana George. George had a 9.8 on bars. Has been in every vault lineup this year. Season high 9.9.
Little off center there on that landing. This is a great event for Cal. They have lots of power, great vaults. They just need to continue to work on cleaning up those landings, and this is a good example of what they need to do right here. Perfect position in the air, but right there she needs to keep her hips flat so that her feet stay behind her, so her momentum carries to the landing. Because she pulls the feet under her, she has to take that hop back.
Our first look at Kiana George. We'll see her again, and obviously enjoying herself. And up last on bars, Sabrina Gill for Oregon State. Last week at Arizona, coming off an injury. She had just her second competitive bars routine this year, set a career high with a 9.9 to win the event, and she saved the rotation because her big score came after a fall.
Yeah, she struggled with being sick early in the season, and she has a nagging back injury that they've had to work around. I think for a lot of these athletes, it's about pacing them through the season so that when it matters most at the end of the season, you have your best lineups on all 4 events. She's fighting through a little bit there on the low bar, adjusting well. And finishing with a nice double layout.
And a fist pump from Coach Brian Amato in celebration from her team. Sabrina Gill capping things off for Oregon State on bars. We've got 2 rotations down, 2 to go. Gill finishing things off for OSU. We've got the beam and the floor coming up. Rotations changing here as we head to the beam and the floor, and we'll take a look back at rotation 2 with Cal on the vault and Oregon State on the bars. And Tony Ann Williams, most experienced gymnast for Cal, at a 9.875 on her vault.
Well, lots of power. Distance was great, and she had a clean landing. Those are all things the judges are looking for when they watch this vault over and over. Position, amplitude, and most of all, the landing. Kiana George followed her with another strong performance. She had the power, the distance, just a little too much on that landing. You'll see she has to hop back, pikes those feet down just a little bit too much. But that vault starts from a 9.95, and she earned a 9.85, so great rotation for Cal on the vault.
Oregon State on uneven bars. Mariana Calusi-Palath carded a 9.875, which matches Emmy Watterson for the event win.
Well, nice Jaeger flip, transition down to the low bar, beautiful form and handstands. And then really got a lot of speed going into that double layout and locks it in for a great landing.
Yeah, that is the 4th event title of her career. Sabrina Gill, 9.825 on bars.
Another beautiful routine, little leg separation there, but fought through that low bar sequence and pulled out another strong dismount. Double layout and fights for that landing.
And so on vault for Cal, 49.1. On bars for Oregon State, a 49.2. So both solid. And look at that, 98.325, a quarter of a tenth. That is the closest possible differential between the two. Maddie Dagan warming up for her beam routine, and she is the reigning Pac-12 Freshman of the Week.
Yeah, when I talked to the coaches about her, they said she brings incredible experience to this team. And yes, even though she's a freshman, she comes in with a team-oriented focus, both in the gym and out of the gym, and that has really made a difference as she has taken on her freshman year. Big gymnastics, and she looks so calm, cool, and collected, sticking these landings so early on.
Yeah, really behaves like an upperclassman. Jumped right into 3 lineups here in her freshman season. All but uneven bars. All right, we've got rotation 3 coming up as the Beavs head to the beam, and Cal will see their floor routines. That's coming up after this from here at Gill Coliseum. Very close, and 2 rotations remaining. And they have come out in force, Beaver Nation has, here at Gill Coliseum, as they did last night for men's basketball, as they will tomorrow night for women's basketball. Another sellout expected there between 2 of the top 10 teams in the nation, Oregon and Oregon State. Cal Bears an enthusiastic bunch as they head to the floor. And Oregon State is going to go to the beam. And just a quarter of a tenth separating these two. And we've been talking about how it could come down to the final routine. We expect Caitlin Yanish to be last on floor for Oregon State.
Yeah, this next rotation is going to be really important. Cal needs to put up clean routines on the floor exercise. It's a great event for them, and the reason being is they have a lot of difficulty, but the balance beam, we know it's always a challenge for every team.
McKenna Singley, and her last time on beam at home was 4 weeks ago against Utah. She suffered a fall there. Since then has had 2 solid routines on the road. Season high 9.85 3 weeks ago at UW.
Well, this first routine is always so important. First major test right here. Tumbling element, back handspring layout, step out, was off balance, but was able to fight through, stay on.
Senior from Bountiful, Utah, recently accepted into the University of Utah's prestigious S.J. Quinney College of Law.
She has a nice rhythm, dancing between her skills, aggressive kick over front, nice posture on the landing. The gymnasts are required a variety of skills, of course, the tumbling elements, 2 consecutive elements connected, but they also want to see a variety of skills, forward skills, backward skills, and of course the leaps and jumps, connections, and the dismount, cartwheel, gainer full off the side.
And McKenna Singley beginning things for the Beavs on the beam.
Yeah, she had a few wobbles on that routine, but was able to fight through, and that's the key, is you got to stay on that first routine, get the rotation going.
Sophie Seilnocht at a 9.725 on bars. Been a regular on floor since the beginning of her junior year. Matched her career best with a 9.85 in week 2 of this season. Last week at 9.8 at Utah.
Cal has really started to push the level of difficulty on this event. For Sophie, it's all about being clean. Nice first tumbling pass, combination work right to that jump out.
You ever heard of a gymnast having Tommy John surgery, the surgery that the pitchers get? Sophie had that.
Yeah, it's not too often, but to be able to come back from that obviously is always a challenge. She's done a great job. Another combination pass there. She performs those jumps out. She has a lot of power, and it gives her the ability to take no deductions on those landings.
Final pass for Sophie Seilnocht.
Back 1.5 front pike to a perfect landing. I mentioned Cal adding difficulty. That's not the most difficult routine we're going to see, but the reason she's in that leadoff position is because she is so clean. All 3 tumbling passes, nice control, good combination work, but it's all about the landings. On her first and second pass, she does the combination work, and she does the jump out. That covers up any steps on the landing. Nice position in the air, showing off great flexibility too. And then she stuck that final tumbling pass.
9.725 for McKenna Singley. Now, Mariana Calusi-Pelayath, who was co-champion of the bars event with a 9.875, was in the beam lineup 10 times as a freshman 3 years ago, but since then has been on beam only once, last March against Michigan State.
Well, I was asking Tanya Chaplin about the beam lineup. I said, what should I expect? Are there any changes? She said, well, I have 10 to 12 athletes that can make this lineup. So it comes down to how the training has been this week, along with how they warm up. She said if there were any changes, it goes in that 2 spot.
Oregon State 12th in the country on beam, averaging 48.98.
Confident tumbling series, snapping those arms down. Every gymnast has a different style on the balance beam. The goal is that you choose that style that really helps you get into a solid rhythm. Nice work there on her leap pass.
Was quite confident for just her second competitive beam routine in the last 3 years.
Side aerial, layout full.
That's a big moment for Mariana.
A great routine right there. She was solid start to finish. There were no wobbles. She had nice variety of skills and a clean landing.
For someone who has focused almost exclusively on bars the last few years, well done. 9.775 for Sophie Seilnocht. Now Rachel Mastrangelo She had a 9.825 on vault.
This is a routine they've added that difficulty into. They put a full in this opening tumbling pass, and that's a skill she's actually learned as a collegiate gymnast. Right here. Oh, she went with the double pike. You know, I saw her come up short in the warm-ups, and they pulled it out of the routine.
Is it best to go with what you're good at, even if the difficulty isn't as high?
Well, you talk to both of these coaches, and they say all the time, you're basically picking risk, which is the big passes, over being clean. And with that tough warm-up, they opted to go with the clean routine, which maybe that was a mental decision also.
Rachel's best this year, a 9.85 4 weeks ago against Stanford.
She's a high-energy routine. Set for that final pass. 2.5 twist. Also a challenging tumbling pass, especially at the end of the routine. It can be difficult to land. So they went with an easier routine today, but she was clean throughout.
Rachel Mastrangelo, a junior from Waxhaw, North Carolina. A 9.8 for Mariana Calusi-Palath in her first competitive beam routine since last year. And now Maddie Dagan had a 9.85 on vault. Her career high on beam, a 9.925 a couple of weeks ago at home against UCLA when she wowed the crowd.
Solid back handspring layout. Step out.
Won the beam title last week at Arizona with a 9.9.
Beautiful leap pass, switch leap to that switch half, and then unique choreography. The poise and artistry early on in her career here as a freshman is so noticeable. Dancing on the beam like she's on the floor exercise, and finishing side aerial layout full.
You never know with her up there, that thing's just a few inches wide.
4 inches wide, I remember well. Back handspring layout, step out, they make it look so easy. Solid start to finish, snapping those arms down. You can just see the look on her face. She says, I own this balance beam.
$9.75 for Rachel Mastrangelo. Now Chelsea Shoes, senior from Manhattan Beach, and has been on floor once this year. Posted a 9.6 in week 1 at LSU. Career high 9.875 game against Utah last year. Has not appeared in either of the last 2 meets since suffering a fall on bars at Arizona on January 26th.
Double tuck, landing right close to that white line, but held on to that lunge position.
This is a late substitution for Maya Bordas.
Coming right back with the double pike.
You know, Matt, Chelsea loves to cook. Matter of fact, for the past few years, she's made her entire family's Thanksgiving dinner all by herself.
Wow, that's a great skill. I haven't done that yet. Made the Thanksgiving dinner. I just eat it.
Who makes it?
My family.
Okay. See what she can cook up here on her final tumbling pass.
Oh, wow. Combination pass, 1.5 front. And when she landed that 1.5, her knees were soft. To get a good punch on the spring floor, you want to be in a rebounding position. So legs tight, hips open.
We'll look at her first tumbling pass.
Yeah, she was strong here on the opening pass. Nice high, good position on the double tuck. She does step right back to that white line, but stays in bounds. and then struggled through on that final tumbling pass.
A word with Liz Crandall-Howell. 9.875 for Maddie Dagan. And now Sabrina Gill next to go on beam for the Beavs. Had a 9.825 on bars. Coming off an injury that kept her out of the beam lineup the first 4 weeks. She's been on beam each of the last 2 meets, and 9.85 each time.
Beautiful gymnast.
Really began enjoying herself more last year when she realized that she wasn't going to get pulled from lineups because of a single mistake.
Nice jump combination. That's one of the biggest challenges for these teams that have depth on each event, is they start feeling like they're fighting for a lineup spot. That can be a good thing. Friendly competition. But in her situation, maybe putting too much pressure on herself. Nice front aerial back handspring combination that meets the tumbling elements.
And Oregon State, as you mentioned, with 12 athletes who could go on beam, but the lineup includes only 6.
Dismounting off the side, gainer full. Beautiful routine.
Sabrina Gill, beset by injuries and illness earlier this year. They finished strongly here in 2019.
Performing gainer full twist off the side, spots the ground. And a smile. Always a good feeling when you hit a beam routine, but sticking the dismount at the end of a hit beam routine is the best feeling.
I bet it is. A 9.45 for Chelsea Shue. They want to scratch a line through that one, so pressure on George, Clausey, and Williams, the final 3 to go on floor. Kiana George, a sophomore from McKinney, Texas. Way back when, she almost gave up the sport because of mental blocks, but Amanda, your former Olympic teammate, fellow Olympic gold medalist J.C. Phelps, helped her overcome those mental blocks.
Yeah, we were fortunate with our coach to do a lot of mental training, and that was really important for me in the sport of gymnastics. I would love to practice, but doing it under pressure was a challenge for me, so she was in good hands with JC. Opening front through to front 1.5 twist.
Rich Burke along with Amanda Borden, who was the captain of the Magnificent Seven, the first USA women's gymnastic team to win the team gold medal back in 1996 in the Atlanta Games.
Kiana is so fun to watch on this event because she's a powerhouse, but it's also her dance. We saw her leap pass. She overextends past 180. She has the difficulty like that front double full. She really draws you in on her performance.
Now you can see why she was the national champ, 2017 JO Nationals, on floor.
Finishing front 1.5 twist. Nice recovery there. That's going to be a solid score. She started with this combination front through to the 1.5 twist. Popped right up to that finish. Second tumbling past the front double full. This one much more challenging to land. Got to get height and rotation. Her legs were a little bit crossed. We do get to see it in slow motion, so the judges may not be able to see that as well. Might be a slight deduction.
Expect to see Kiana one more time. 9.875 for Sabrina Gill, and now Lacey Dagan. Maddie Dagan earlier had a 9.875 on beam, so the sisters are both on vault and on beam for Oregon State.
Small balance check there, but difficult leap pass. Switch leap to that switch side. Solid front aerial, working right out of it. layout step out. It looked like she was a little off balance. She used her arms to kind of settle into that landing position. My coach used to say, it's not about going straight every time. It's about being able to stay on when you're not straight. That's what makes the best beam workers. Dismounting gainer pike.
Third consecutive solid routine for Lacey Dagan.
That really locks them in at 5 great routines so far. Back handspring layout step out. When she lands, watch her arm. She circles it around to the side and makes that adjustment. That gave her time to kind of settle in her hips and shoulders over the beam. And quite often the judges can't tell from their angle if you're straight or not. It's all about how you land at the end of the skill.
A 9.875 for Kiana George. Now Milan Clausy. She had a 9.725 on vault. She won the floor last week at Utah with a 9.9. She's been at 9.8 each of the first 6 weeks of her collegiate career, 9.8 or better.
She had a lot of family and friends in the crowd there, being from Salt Lake. This first tumbling pass. Full twisting double back. Beautiful, right into the corner.
Her mother, Melissa Marlowe, was an All-American 4 years at Utah and Olympic gymnast for the United States in 1988.
I got to tell Milan last week that I looked up to her mom. I remember the 1988 team. I remember their leotards. I thought they were the coolest, and to get to watch her perform now has been really fun for me.
It's probably great for you to be able to say that, because so often you have people coming up to you saying they looked up to you.
Second tumbling pass, front double full, dancing right out of it. I watched Milan as a club gymnast also, and she's always been a beautiful dancer. Coming right into her freshman year, bringing the difficulty, the artistry, and having fun doing it.
Nice finish. Milan Clausy, freshman from Salt Lake City.
This was a great routine for her, opening right here with the difficult full twisting double back. Nice position, clean form in the air, and knew exactly where she was on that landing.
Her final pass.
Finishing right here, back 1.5 twist to that front layout. And then popping right into her dance moves. And I love seeing her smile and relax a little bit. She's a serious competitor.
A 9.9 for Lacey Dagan. Well done, getting better and better on beam, and 5 straight hits for OSU. Now, Mela Lazaro suffered her first fall of the season last week at Arizona after a solid first 4 meets of the year. 3 weeks ago, 9.925 at Washington. She is from Aiea, Hawaii, island of Oahu, and she's got the music from Iz in the background.
Small bobble there on that opening tumbling series. Was able to hold on to it. Moving into her leap combination, switch leap, straddle 3/4, beautiful flexibility.
Needs to beat 9.725 for her score to count. 6 gymnasts perform. You take the best 5 scores.
She has a nice fluid pace to this routine. Dismounting, side aerial, layout full. Oregon State 6 for 6 on the balance beam. That's always a great rotation.
Yes, it is, and that has to feel good for Lazaro after a rare fall off the beam last week.
This is becoming a popular dismount, the side aerial to the layout full. It's not an easy combination, but is one of the easier dismounts to stick if you do it well. And of course, always important to finish a great beam routine with a landing like that.
6 hits for OSU on beam. 9-9 for Milan Clausi on floor. Now, Tony Ann Williams didn't perform on floor last week at Utah. A couple of weeks ago, she had a 9-9. Career high 9.975 last year in Cal's upset win over Utah. Told you a 2016 Olympian for Jamaica, and her Cal head coach Justin Howell was also the head coach for Jamaica.
This is a new tumbling pass for her this season. Full twisting double back. Said it's always nice when you have 2 options for your opening tumbling pass. She can also double layout, but they're choosing that pass because it's a little bit easier on her body.
At what point does she make that decision?
Well, you know, I think it's probably her and the coaches, but I know early in the season they made that choice this year. She's consistent on it. She can train the numbers she needs to. Remember, she's a 5th-year senior. She's had some injuries. On this event, though, you see that personality come out. Combination front layout, front fold. Earlier, we talked about her preseason elbow injury. At the beginning of the season, we saw her on the floor exercise, and when I talked to her afterwards, she said that was really only my 2nd time doing a routine.
Wow.
That is how impressive she is. She is a competitor. She loves to perform. Oh, no. You could see it on the takeoff. You knew right away, because she is a very powerful gymnast and she did not get the amplitude she needed.
Much concern from Justin Howell, Liz Crandall Howell. Back in 2017, Tony Ann tore her Achilles. We certainly hope it's nothing that serious.
It happened on her final tumbling pass. She just didn't get a great punch on the floor, and quite often, she was able to pull it through, but she could barely grab those legs and then came up completely short.
Such a great competitor, Tony Ann Williams. A pall cast over Gill Coliseum right now as she's carried off. Got 1 rotation remaining. And so Cal on floor had a 48.75, Oregon State 49.35. That's just a 10th shy of what they had done a couple of weeks ago against UCLA. And so Oregon State has taken the lead by more than 6/10. Crowd enjoying this damn cancer meet, but there was an injury to Tony Ann Williams. Say more about that a little bit later on. Meanwhile, in that 3rd rotation on balance beam, Maddie Dagan had a 9.875 for Oregon State.
Well, she is so impressive. Composed throughout this beam routine, made adjustments where she needed, and pulled out a great dismount right there. The side aerial, layout full.
And Oregon State had a pair of 9.9s on beam. Lacey Dagan continues to get better and better. She'd suffered falls her first 2 times this year, 3 consecutive hits, and a 9.9 now.
Well, again, we saw her make that adjustment on her series, wrapping her arm around so she didn't lose any points on that, and then nailed that gainer pike dismount.
And then Mela Lazaro, likewise a 9.9 to cap things off.
They really looked confident on this event. She had that bobble on her series, but adjusted on everything else and finished her routine out with a beautiful side aerial. Layout full. Got those arms out, ready for a perfect landing.
And in the 3rd rotation, Cal was on floor. And Kiana George carded the 9.875 in the 4th slot.
Yeah, right before her Chelsea shoe made a mistake. So this was a big routine for Kiana to come out. She had the combination work with that front 1.5 twist. Her 2nd tumbling pass, always impressive. Front double full, can be challenging to land, but she did a nice job there. And then freshman Milan Clausi came back with a big full in to start the routine. She has beautiful dance and artistry throughout this event. and finished it up with the back 1.5 front layout. And she locked in another 9.9, the same score we saw last week when she was at University of Utah.
Well done for Milan Klasi. Well, we have 3 rotations down, 1 to go as Cal heads to the beam and Oregon State heads to the floor. You don't want to miss Caitlin Yanish's floor routine. And so that'll be coming up from Corvallis when we come back to Gill Coliseum. Oregon State leading it by about 0.6. 6.25 for Oregon State. If you're new to gymnastics, to put that into, say, football terms, that would be a lead of maybe a little more than a touchdown. So Cal is still in it, but they're going to have to collect themselves after the injury to Tony Ann Williams. As a teammate of such a great competitor, your senior leader, how does that affect you?
Well, you know, she is a spark of energy for this team. In fact, when that happened, they were all in tears, but they did rally up. They made a circle, and, you know, at this point, no doubt in my mind that Tony Ann wants them to fight for this. You know, that is such a tough thing. I was saying, too, I mean, it's just heartbreaking to watch any athlete have to go through that. But, you know, this team is strong, they're resilient, and that's exactly what she would want them to do, fight through.
We told you Maddie Dagan of Oregon State, the reigning Pac-12 Freshman of the Week. The Gymnast of the Week, Kyla Ross of UCLA, had another perfect 10.
Yeah, she is something, you know. She is definitely on a mission. She has really focused in on her details on every single event. She's added that vault, the Yurchenko layout 1.5 twist, and she has earned many 10s.
And Caitlin Ohashi, the Specialist of the Week again.
So fun to watch. Floor exercise is what she is known for, that unique first tumbling pass, but it's her choreography, her personality, and moves like that that catch your attention. She always wows the crowd.
And they wowed him again yesterday. Kyla Ross, for the 2nd straight week, had a perfect 10 on vault. Ohashi, her 3rd perfect 10 on floor exercise this year. Ross, by the way, also yesterday had a 10 from one judge on bars and floor. She came that close to 3 perfect 10s yesterday, and she upped that all-around score to the 4th highest in UCLA history, 39.85. All right, back here to Gill Coliseum and focusing on Cal and Oregon State, and I think there's some words going on there encouraging the Golden Bears on beam and to overcome what happened to Tony Ann Williams.
Yeah, well, the balance beam is always a tough event to finish on, and, you know, I think the goal at this point is to really show how resilient they are. This can be a great event for this team. They've had to make some lineup changes because Tony Ann Williams was anchoring this event. So Chelsea Shue is back in, and Maya moves to that anchor position.
Hannah George will start it off, doing the all-around for the Golden Bears. She had a 9.85 on vault, 9.8 on bars, 9.875 on floor. It's her 6th straight week in the beam lineup. Has a skill named after her on beam, the George, a triple wolf turn. Explain.
Well, it's that skill right there. She only did a single. But the move that is named after her, she does 3 spins in that wolf position. Very difficult. Every once in a while we see her debut the double in her collegiate routine. Front aerial, small balance check to that back handspring. It looked like it was fluid, but if for some reason the judges do not connect those 2 elements, it can be 2/10 off of her start value. Solid layout step out.
She was 12th in the all-around of the NCAA semifinals last year.
Finishing gainer layout full.
Another solid routine for Kiana George.
Here's that element you were talking about. Only a single turn here today, but it's still difficult and unique. She finished the routine with a gainer layout full. She took on this position as the lead up on balance beam a few weeks ago, and I asked why, and Liz Crandall-Howell said, because it really sets the tone. Tony Ann back out on the floor with her teammates.
Barry Jacobson will start it off on floor for Oregon State. Got a 9.875 on vault, 9.825 on bars. Put down a 9.8 exactly in 4 of the first 5 meets. The lone aberration, a 9.875 at home against UCLA 2 weeks ago. Her customary leadoff spot in Oregon State's floor lineup.
Opening double pike. Coming back, combination work. Layout 1.5, front layout out.
There's a computer science major. Senior from Puyallup, Washington.
Finishing front 1.5, a little short on the landing, having to step forward.
Graceful.
Watch the whole team in the background. Great energy to start the rotation for Oregon State on the floor.
You just don't have to memorize your own choreography. You have to memorize everybody's choreography.
I know. It is always amazing to see how many of the routines they know, but you have to remember they do them over and over in the gym every single day.
9.75 for Kiana George. Now, along Clausey at a 9.725 on vault and 9.9 on floor. Appears to be getting settled in on beam. With the exception of 9.7 in week 2, she's been at least as good and usually better than the week before in every meet this year. Told your mom, Melissa Marlowe, an Olympic gymnast for the U.S. in 1988. Her dad, Joe, played football at Utah in the late 1980s, one of the best pass rushers the Utes have ever had.
Setting up for that tumbling series. Back handspring layout, step out. Like her floor routine, you see such unique choreography. She really works the beam, showing off her creative movements. Combination into the dismount. Beautiful routine.
Milan Clausey. 3 lineups today. Hug from Liz Crandall-Howell.
Yeah, a lot of emotion for these girls right now. This is her back handspring layout, step out. And when she lands, she kind of smiles. I don't know if she was crooked or she knew she had it.
Tony Ann Williams suffering the fall on floor. She has ice on her ankle. And we certainly hope it's not as serious as back in 2017 when she had the Achilles tear. A 9.8 for Mary Jacobson, and now Maddie Dagan, who's posted a couple of good routines already, a 9.85 on vault, 9.875 on beam. Career high on floor came a couple of weeks ago against UCLA, 9.925.
Clean double tuck to start the routine.
You don't have to be just an athlete, you have to be a performer.
That was my favorite part about this event. Double pike there on that second pass, hopping back. This was the one event you could actually show your personality, really pull the crowd in. It's always great to pick a music that really suits your personality, it makes it much easier to perform. But at this level, it's not just about drawing the crowd in, it's about drawing the judges in too. Nice combination front layout, front full.
What a great routine from Maddie Dagan. Be at 9-8 or better 3 times in this meet.
Her opening tumbling pass, a double tuck. Nice takeoff position, arms up. Clean form in the air. Was able to open it up for a perfect landing.
(9.875) for Milan Clausi, and now our one look today at Cassidy Keelan, the junior from Lucas, Texas. And a beam specialist for the Golden Bears here in her junior season. Season high 9.9 3 weeks ago at Arizona.
Back handspring layout, step out, nice work, snapping into that lunge position. Looked like her hips were open just a little bit. Little balance check there on the jump. She actually drops her head back into that ring position. That takes her eyes off of the balance beam. Makes it a little more challenging to land, so that wobble happened, but no problem on that front aerial. Dismounting round off 1.5 twist. Nice work.
Well done for Cassidy Keelan. The one routine today.
Take another look here at her dismount. Round off 1.5 twist. We see so many of the combinations and the gainer falls off the side. A great landing there on the back 1.5 twist.
9.85 for Maddie Dagan. McKenna Singley now had a 9.8 involved, a 9.725 on beam. Her career high 9.925 on floor twice last year. Looking to improve on her routine from last week at Arizona.
Fierce music, setting her up for that first tumbling pass. A little off balance, but a great start.
McKenna long and graceful, and when I see her, I think a little bit of Sabrina Schwab, who was so good at Utah before her career came to an end because of injuries.
Yeah, graceful dance, but great tumbling in there too. I think that's one of the best combinations on this event is when you have the power pack tumbling and the unique choreography in between those passes.
Her brother Austin likes to perform as well. He's worked as a rodeo clown.
Wow. Finish front 1.5 twist. And a dramatic finish as well.
With her teammates chanting OSU, so much better than her 9.55 last week at Arizona.
Yeah, that was a great routine. Clean tumbling passes, including the second tumbling pass, double pike. Nice position in the air. Dropped it in for a great landing.
McKenna Singley, her third routine today. 9.825 for Cassidy Keelan. And now Sophie Seilnacht, who had a 9.725 on bars, 9.775 on floor. Has been a regular in the beam lineup throughout her career. Season best 9.925 a couple of weeks ago.
And a 9.825 against Utah last week. Solid back handspring layout, step out. Oh, little balance there, dropping that left shoulder out of her double stag ring into that beat jump. Side aerial, full twist, little step to the right.
So far, so good for Cal on beam following the injury to Tony Ann Williams on floor. And the emotion that flowed out of them afterwards. (9-8) for McKenna Singley. Now Savannah Force. One look at her today, 4 weeks ago. Her 9.925 established a new career high against Utah. Won the first event title of her career last week at 9.85 at Arizona.
Oregon State has a great rotation going.
Everybody at 9.8 or above. The
big
power
double pike,
she gets.
yeah. That was a great opening tumbling pass. Beautiful flexibility on the switch side to that strata full. Perfect position on the landing there, front layout, front full. Teammates rooting her on for this final pass. Double tack, oh, 2 steps back, but I believe she stayed in bounds there.
I think she did.
Yeah, that's a big tumbling pass at the end of the routine. Takes a lot of endurance. These routines are about 1.5 minutes, and they make it look easy, but it is a test of endurance. And let's take a look here at her second tumbling pass combination front layout. Right to the front full. A great position on that landing.
Then the last pass, did she step out?
The double tack. Well, when she lands, she drops below 90 degrees into the squat. Anytime you do that, it's hard to fight. But that second step just came to the white line, so there should be no deduction. You actually have to cross the white line to get that 1/10 deduction. So I think she stayed in.
9.75 for Sophie Seilnock. Now Chelsea Shu, who was a late substitution into the floor lineup and had a little mistake leading to a 9.45. She was in the beam lineup for the first 3 weeks this year, but not since.
Solid front to back combination.
She's subbing now in the beam lineup because of the injury to Tony Ann Williams.
Solid side summy. Clean switch leap to that split jump, meeting the 2 jumps requirement.
Chelsea, a senior from Southern California, Manhattan Beach.
All that's left is the dismount. Side aerial tuck full.
Well done, Chelsea Shu.
Good for her. Wasn't even scheduled to be in the beam lineup and just put up a beautiful routine.
Well, late substitution into both the floor and the beam lineups And has a hit on beam. 9-7 for Savannah Force. Isis Lowry now had a 9.85 on bars. Excellent floor routine a couple of weeks ago against UCLA. Career high 9.95. Last week had a 9.9 at Arizona.
Always fun to watch her on this event. So much personality. And then she gets focused, setting up for this first tumbling pass. Added this in this year, front double full, and makes it look easy. Back 1.5 front layout.
Teammates chanting OSU.
That's where she pulls the crowd in.
I'll say she enjoys performing.
Sticking front 1.5 twist. When I had a chance to talk to the coaches about floor and what's made them so successful this year, Isis is a key part of that. She has great choreography. She really contributes to the energy on this event, but she's also upgraded that first tumbling pass to a front double full. That's huge. And then her other passes like this, the combination back 1.5 to that front layout, were clean. Her final tumbling pass, also a front twisting pass, but watch the landing. Front 1.5, spots the ground. And anytime you can keep your feet together on this event, it's basically saying, hey, judges, you can't take a deduction.
And now the worm.
A reverse worm, backwards. It's hard enough to do forwards, but it's her personality that really draws you into that routine. So fun to watch.
Yes, it is. A 9.9 for Chelsea Shu. Very well done. A late sub into the lineup, and now Maya Bordas, who was supposed to go 5th, has been dropped to the anchor slot because of the injury to Tony Ann Williams. This is her 4th time, and in fact her 3rd time on beam this year. Had a 9.9 a couple of weeks ago at home against ASU and BYU.
Wow, a little adjustment there. Those two leaps were supposed to be connected. She did a little swing between. I believe maybe her foot wasn't centered on the beam good enough. Adjusting there, getting that back handspring layout. Oh no.
Borda's 2nd fall on beam this year. She had one back in week 1 at LSU.
Yeah, that's 0.5 of a point. Coming back with that side aerial. Dismounting, layout full twist.
So disappointment for Maya Bordas. The good news is the 5 previous gymnasts had a hit on beam. Our final routine of the night is Caitlin Yanish on floor. Oregon State, you figure, going to win this meet with a .625 lead in the rotation, entering this rotation. And now Caitlin Yanish, she too, fun to watch on floor, and a couple of weeks ago had a perfect 10 from one judge with a 9.975 against UCLA.
Big double layout. The second flip is higher than the first.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
How?
Combination front layout, front full. Beautiful flexibility on her leap pass. She was a great performer on floor as a freshman. But I think one of the biggest changes you can see in this young lady is her confidence.
Final tumbling pass.
She needs a great landing here. Double tuck.
Wow. Not many deductions there, huh?
You know, to me, she had the amplitude, the power, great landings. You know, when the judges watch this, it's really up to them to decide, do they take any deduction when they step back into the lunge position? This opening tumbling pass, look at the second flip. It rises way above, gives her plenty of time. To me, no deduction on that landing. Huge power, big amplitude. Her second tumbling pass combination front full to that front layout. Nice position there. Not much to take if I were judging. And her teammates would agree, I think.
It's a 9.95 for Caitlin Yanish. So she caps it off with the best score of the meet. Caitlin Yanish of Oregon State. Both teams at 49 plus in the final rotation, as Cal had a 49.1, Oregon State a 49.275. So the Beavs win this one by 0.8 over the Golden Bears. Each team was better than their season average. That's what they want at this point in the year. Our State Farm here to help life go right. Highlights center around Maddie Dagan, the freshman for Oregon State. 3 routines of 9.85 or better.
Well, she was impressive at the very first rotation. She shows great confidence sticking those landings. Beam, 9.875. That was the best event for Oregon State, where they earned a 49.35 on that event, and then came back on floor exercise. Opening clean double tuck. As a freshman, she amazes me with her poise and her confidence, and she's delivering great scores for this team.
For Maddie Dagan, the reigning freshman of the week in the Pac-12. Another solid week. Amanda, this has been so much fun working with you. I really enjoyed it, and our thoughts and prayers go out to Tony Ann Williams.
Yeah,
and hope that her injury is not too serious.
She's got a smile on her face, so I have no doubt she will be fine. She will fight through this, and she's going to be a great leader for her team no matter what.
Yep, and she will go on to great things in life. We know that. Tony Ann Williams, the 5th-year senior for Cal. Oregon State wins it by 0.8, and coming up, they'll be back in the desert to face Arizona State next week, 6 o'clock Pacific. Next week, Cal is at home against Washington. That'll be Saturday at 2 o'clock, Pac-12 Bay Area and Pac-12 Washington. Women's basketball is coming up. Cal at UCLA. For Amanda, I'm Rich. That is it from Corvallis. Oregon State wins it by 0.8.